everyone. We are glad that you are here. I'm going to give people just another minute or so to get in so that we have everyone here for the beginning. Well, we are glad that you are joining us today for this 35M Professional Development webinar. Today, we're going to be looking at CORE's offering, and we are excited that you are here. We know it's a Friday, and so thank you very much for spending your time with us. Okay, so we just want to share a little bit. Over the past 2 weeks, Wayne Risa has collaborated with vendors identified on the 35M professional development list in order to offer webinars that provide an overview of their product and services. Today, you'll have the opportunity to learn more about CORE during this 1 hour session. At the end of the week, and probably the beginning of next week, once all sections have been concluded, we'll share webinar recordings and information shared by the vendor. So any of the resources that they share today will also be shared with the recording. If you'd like earlier access, please visit our website that's on the screen, which is grants.risa.net. Under the 35M section, you'll find our updated recording links and vendor materials as they become available. If you have questions today during the webinar, we would invite you to place them in the Q&A window. Representatives from the vendor will be able to answer your questions. You can find this feature on your toolbar. If you're having difficulty with this, you can also use your chat. I know we're going to drop a couple things in the chat during the session, so you'll be able to see those there as well. And finally, Wayne Risa does not endorse specific providers. The webinars are offered as a service to help districts make informed decisions about 35M grant spending. For questions about specific products, please contact the vendors directly. If you are a Wayne County district or school and would like support in identifying instructional needs or developing a plan for purchasing and adapting materials, we invite you to reach out to one of our Wayne Risa literacy consultants. And with that, I am going to stop sharing my screen and I am going to introduce you to Dale Webster from CORE.
Good morning, everyone. So happy to have you here. I'm going to share my screen and get myself organized here. So give me 1 second. You all see that?
We can.
All right. Awesome. Okay. Well, good morning again, everyone, and thank you for being here today or for watching the recording later. We know your time is valuable, and we're grateful that you're spending some time of it with us. If you're here, it's because you care about one thing: better literacy outcomes for your students. And that's exactly why we're here too. There are a lot of great organizations on the list, many grounded in the science of reading and structured literacy, just like CORE. But here's the difference. We don't just train teachers. We build instructional expertise that lasts far beyond a workshop or a curriculum cycle. Let me tell you a quick story. A district in California partnered with CORE to strengthen literacy instruction across K-5. Their teachers had a solid curriculum, but they weren't getting the growth they expected. And after just 1 year of job-embedded PD with CORE, focused on teacher knowledge, classroom modeling, and data-informed support, they saw a 14-point increase in reading scores. More importantly, teachers felt confident. They understood not just what to teach, but how and why. That's the difference. We're not here to deliver content. We're here to partner with you to transform practice so that every educator in your district becomes the expert their students need. Let's show you how. So let's take a quick look at what we'll cover today. We'll start with a brief introduction to who we are at CORE and why districts across the country and now here in Michigan choose to work with us. Next, we'll walk through what sets CORE apart, not just our alignment with the science of reading, but how we go deeper to build lasting instructional expertise that drives student outcomes. From there, we'll introduce you to our 2 flagship offerings, OLA, our Online Language and Literacy Academy, and the Elementary Reading Academy, our in-person professional learning experience. We'll show you how both professional learning courses are grounded in research, aligned to Michigan's literacy priorities, and built to be completed within 1 year or less, meeting the requirements of the new grant opportunity. Finally, we'll close with next steps and leave time for any questions that you have, whether it's live or through follow-up after the recording. So let's get started. So I want to take a minute to introduce ourselves. Again, I'm Dale Webster. I'm the president of CORE, and I began my career as a teacher, classroom teacher in Southern California. And that experience really shaped everything that's followed. I saw firsthand the challenges and the incredible potential that exists when we give teachers the right tools to support diverse learners. I went on to earn a PhD in educational psychology, focusing my research on vocabulary development for English learners. I've spent my career working across the country to help educators strengthen literacy instruction. I've had the opportunity to serve as a literacy content expert for the Los Angeles Unified School District, lead technical assistance for the Texas Reading First initiative, and influence policy as a member of California's Curriculum Commission and also as staff to the State Board of Education, helping shape curriculum and professional development decisions at the state level. At CORE, I led the development of both the Online Language and Literacy Academy and the Elementary Reading Academy, programs that have now been validated by 3 independent evaluations, showing that CORE's PD leads to real improvements in student reading scores. Everything I do is driven by one goal: helping educators translate research into practice, because when teachers are supported, students succeed. Turn it over to Maya.
Thank you so much, Dale. Hi, everybody. My name is Maya Valencia Goodall, and I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at CORE. I've spent over 2 decades at the intersection of bilingual literacy, second language acquisition, and educational technology, always focused on one thing: making learning more effective and more accessible for every student. I hold a master's in education and a master's in applied linguistics, which have shaped both my research and my real-world experience in classrooms. I'm a co-creator of OLA, the Online Language and Literacy Academy here at CORE Learning. I know and have seen firsthand that spoken language is the foundation of strong literacy instruction, especially for multilingual learners and students with diverse language backgrounds. Before CORE, I co-founded a curriculum company called Lingual Learning, which was later acquired by Rosetta Stone and Lexia. There, I helped develop Lexia English, a program that uses speech recognition engine and culturally authentic avatars to teach English through real conversation. I bring a mix of educational theory, learning experience design, and practical classroom insight, because I know what it takes to move the needle for students. And that's exactly what today's presentation is about. Back to you, Dale.
Thanks, Maya. Right. CORE Learning is a professional learning organization dedicated to strengthening teaching and accelerating student achievement and literacy. We've been a trusted partner to schools and systems across the country, equipping educators with the knowledge, the tools, and the confidence to deliver rigorous, accessible, and results-driven instruction. Our approach is grounded in research and built for the realities of the classroom. We don't just support educators, we build instructional excellence that leads to real outcomes for students. Over the years, we've been guided by a national advisory board of some of the most respected names in reading science, including Joe Torgeson, Barbara Foreman, Isabel Beck, Ed Kameanui, Claude Goldenberg, Louisa Moats, Mark Shin, and Elsa Cardenas-Hagen. Together, we help districts lay a strong instructional foundation so that every student in every classroom has the opportunity to thrive. At CORE, we know instructional excellence is built by investing in what matters most: educator knowledge, job-embedded support, high-quality materials and assessments that support student learning. In Michigan, raising literacy outcomes means investing in what works, and CORE delivers a comprehensive, proven approach to help districts get there. As the slide says, student achievement is driven by instructional excellence, and instructional excellence is powered by 3 elements that CORE provides support with and also influences. First, we build educator knowledge. Michigan educators need deep, sustained training in the science of reading. CORE delivers this through flexible pathways, whether it's studying reading science in just 18 weeks online or through 7 days of high-impact in-person training. We also help schools adopt the right materials that are research-aligned and also assessments. We help districts select and implement high-quality instructional materials and assessments aligned to the science of reading and curated to fit Michigan's literacy goals and standards. And also, and very importantly, we help districts sustain their improvements with coaching and ongoing implementation support. Training to build knowledge alone isn't going to be enough, right? CORE offers ongoing job-embedded coaching and school-wide implementation support that really helps educators apply what they've learned in our courses to their work in the classroom, driving up to 95% transfer from their learning experience to practice in implementing structured literacy within the first year. With this three-pronged approach, knowledge building, aligned materials, and sustained support, CORE helps Michigan districts translate research into results and ensures every student learns to read, write, and speak with confidence. Every curriculum stronger with teacher expertise. Let's think about that, what that means. What sets CORE apart is our ability to connect the dots between the science of reading and the curriculum teachers use every day. We don't just train educators to follow a program, we equip them with deep knowledge of how literacy works, grounded in structured literacy and decades of reading science. Educators walk away not just knowing what to teach, but why it matters and how to do it well. Our PD is curriculum agnostic, but it's never generic. Whether your district uses CKLA, Wit and Wisdom, Benchmark Advance, or is in the process of transitioning to a new program, we help educators bridge the gap between the research and the materials in front of them. That means more effective use of your investment in HQIM and ultimately better outcomes for students. The result, instructional expertise that transfers across grade levels, transfers across programs, and transfers across time. That's how CORE builds lasting instructional capacity that doesn't fade when the curriculum changes. In the chat right now, you're going to see a link pop up to a preview of the Teaching Reading Sourcebook. So when you get that link, please take a moment to copy and paste that link into your browser so you can review it later. So let's talk about one of the most powerful tools in this course, in both of these courses, CORE's Teaching Reading Sourcebook. This is not just a textbook. It's a nationally recognized, research-grounded guide that thousands of educators refer to as their go-to resource. First published in 2000, and now in its third edition, the Sourcebook is widely used as a resource in educator prep programs at universities and also district-level PD across the country. In fact, the National Council on Teacher Quality, or NCTQ, has consistently rated the Sourcebook as exemplary, calling out its comprehensive coverage of the 5 essential components of reading instruction. That's the gold standard for teacher knowledge. What makes it stand out? The content is crystal clear, it's approachable, practical language that demystifies complex reading concepts. It's packed with dynamic visuals, charts, and instructional frameworks that help bring the research to life. And very importantly, it follows a consistent what, why, when, how structure that you see there on the left-hand side of the book. This structure helps educators easily understand the theory and apply it in real classrooms. The how section of each chapter offers step-by-step explicit instructional models that you can put into action right away to enhance your curriculum if there are any gaps. Educators love the Teaching Reading Sourcebook because it's designed for action, not just theory. By the end of the course, participants will have read nearly half of this 800-page resource, and they'll keep it for life. It's the kind of tool you'll come back to again and again in your career. I want you to imagine this. You're sitting with your grade level team, looking at student data after a round of phonics assessments. You're noticing some gaps, and the question comes up, what's the next step for instruction? Instead of guessing or relying just only on your curriculum, you and your colleagues reach for the Teaching Reading Sourcebook. You flip to the phonics chapter, and right there you find a clear explanation of what the skill is, why it matters developmentally, when it should be taught and assessed, and most importantly, how to teach it with examples you can try the very next day. That's what this course gives you, not just knowledge, but a shared language, a trusted reference, and a plan. You won't just finish the course, You'll leave with a tool you and your colleagues can return to time and time again to make instruction sharper and student outcomes stronger. If you haven't already, take a moment to explore the sampler linked here. Later, when you have a few minutes, check out the table of contents, the first chapter, and a preview of a portion of our MTSS chapter to get a sense of just how valuable this resource really is. But there's more. In the chat, you're going to see a link to a preview of another offering, another resource we offer, Assessing Reading Multiple Measures. So again, please take a moment to copy and paste that link into your browser so that you can review it later. So in addition to the source book, educators also receive CORE's Assessing Reading Multiple Measures, a very practical, easy to use collection of diagnostic assessments that build a complete picture of student reading. This isn't just about more testing, it's about targeted diagnostic assessment as needed that drives smarter instruction. This is really meant to be a supplement to the assessment systems that you're already using. So what makes this book stand out? It covers all the 5 essential components, giving you a well-rounded view of each student's literacy development. It's filled with diagnostic tools that you can use as needed, perfect for MTSS or when your existing system doesn't go deep enough. The flowcharts that you have in the book are a game changer. Clear visuals that show exactly when to assess, what to assess, and for whom across the grade spans. And because it's flexible, it fits alongside your current tools, filling gaps and not creating redundancy. So again, check the chat for a preview link of this book. When you have a moment later, take a look at the table of contents, a sample assessment, and how it aligns to the timing and decision-making needs of MTSS. So let's take a quick look at what we're going to cover today. We'll start with a brief introduction to who we are at CORE and why districts across the country and now here in Michigan choose to work with us. Next, we'll walk through what sets CORE apart, not just our alignment and with the science of reading, but how we go deeper to build lasting instructional expertise that drives student outcomes. From there, we'll introduce you to our 2 flagship offerings, OLA and the Elementary Reading Academy. Okay, move on. Okay, Maya.
Thank you so much, Dale. Thank you for going through all of that and talking about our approach. And now one of the things that we're going to talk about is what truly sets CORE apart. And that is how we address language and literacy together, not as separate silos, but as integrated, mutually reinforcing areas of development. Our professional learning intentionally embeds oral language, vocabulary, and academic discourse into literacy instruction. This matters for all students, but especially for those who are learning English, speak different varieties of English, or have language-based learning differences like dyslexia and DLD. We give educators the tools to build the language foundation that reading fluency, comprehension, writing, and content learning rely on. This is a comprehensive approach that makes literacy instruction work for all learners. This slide highlights the power of our approach. It's not one size fits all. It's responsive, effective, and grounded in what works for different learners. Let's walk through how CORE's professional learning creates real opportunities across student populations. First, our professional development will empower teachers to deliver lessons that have universal gains. In other words, it benefits all the students in your classroom. Educators learn how to accelerate reading for all learners. For English learners, we offer clear, structured protocols that help leverage heritage language in order to learn English. We teach teachers how the brain learns a second language and what to do to make that happen. We also address English variety, helping teachers bridge gaps between students' home language and academic language. It's not about correcting, it's about connecting. And we make that differentiation doable through an asset lens. When it comes to dyslexia, we decode the science. Teachers gain tools to spot what's happening and instruct with precision. No guesswork, just actionable strategies. And finally, for students with developmental language disorder or those who struggle with language, we build teacher capacity with structured scaffolds that support both student growth and educator confidence. At the end of the day, this isn't just PD, it's transformation with tools and training that honor student differences and give educators a path to success. Because of our deep focus on language and literacy and our alignment to the science of reading and structured literacy, our flagship programs have earned full accreditation from the International Dyslexia Association. Our flagship programs are IDA accredited. This accreditation is more than a badge. It's demonstrable proof that CORE meets the highest standard in structured literacy and professional development. First, aligning with the IDA knowledge and practice standards means our content isn't just good, it's validated, the leading authority in structured literacy. Second, the accreditation seal indicates that IDA reviewers, they are nationally recognized literacy experts, have vetted our training for rigor, explicitness, and alignment to evidence-based practices. And third, this isn't a one and done. The IDA requires ongoing evaluation through periodic review cycles, ensuring we remain current with emerging research and instructional best practices. For educators, school leaders, and district administrators, this means peace of mind. CORE's structured literacy training isn't just well-designed, it's externally validated, rigorously reviewed, and continuously improving. Being accredited by the International Dyslexia Association is one way we demonstrate quality, but meeting quality standards isn't enough if you can't meet state timelines. That's where CORE stands out again. Michigan is requiring that districts not only invest in professional learning, but complete it within 12 months. That's a real constraint, and not every provider can meet it, but CORE can, and we do. For OLA, districts can complete the program in just 18 weeks. That's less than half the time required, giving schools flexibility, not pressure. Teachers engage with a blended experience, self-paced modules that they can access 24/7, paired with live virtual sessions to deepen understanding and apply learning. For the Elementary Reading Academy, completion is just as achievable. It can be wrapped up in one semester or over the entire school year. We can fit into local schedules, whether you run it during PD days, summer sessions, or embedded in PLCs, we'll make it work. And with both offerings, schools don't have to worry about alignment to curriculum. RPD is curriculum agnostic. It deepens instructional knowledge and applies to any high-quality instructional materials your district is using or plans to adopt. Bottom line, we're ready to help districts meet the mandate on time with no shortcuts on quality. Of course, delivering on time is important, but what really makes or breaks professional learning is who is in front of your teachers. That's where CORE stands apart. Our consultants aren't just experienced, they've been teachers, administrators, and instructional leaders. They know what it's like to be in the classroom, and they bring that insight into every session. They're experts in structured literacy, and just as importantly, they understand how adults learn. Whether in person or online, they don't just present, they model, engage, and adapt. The result? Teachers leave with strategies they can use immediately, not just theory, but real classroom-ready practice. And that's what makes our professional development stick. Expert content delivered by consultants who truly know how to connect, coach, and inspire. Now I'd like to introduce you to Julie Schneider, the Literacy Director in Wayzata Public Schools in Minnesota. Julie led the implementation of OLA with over 300 educators across her district. And what stood out most was just how flexible and easy to use the program was, even at scale. But more importantly, she saw how Ola helped build really well-informed teachers, educators who not only understood the science of reading, but could apply it confidently across classrooms and materials. Let's hear from Julie in her own words.
Hello, thank you, Maya. Lovely to be here. Can everyone hear me? All right, good. So my current role, as Maya said, is Instructional Coordinator for Literacy and Dyslexia Services, and we are in a large suburban district outside Minneapolis. So even being here in this webinar this morning and listening to Maya and Dale is kind of like a walk down memory lane for me. I'll tell you just a bit about myself before I tell you about our journey with Ola. But I have been in education for over 25 years, taught first, second, third grade in the classroom, and then have focused the last 20 plus years mostly on literacy intervention as well as professional learning. So everything from teaching in graduate programs for reading licensure to supporting literacy within district, just a real variety of literacy related roles. I also, as part of my role before we had our new legislation in Minnesota, was accredited with the IDA certification. So I'll be renewing soon as a structured literacy dyslexia specialist. I tell you that not to tell you my resume, but to tell you when we went into this process, I had a lot of look-fors in mind as someone who had been in the literacy field for a long time and seen many programs and practices. And in my role, my job is to support teachers and ultimately support reading gains for all of our students. So in Minnesota, our process looked a little bit different, but I've also kind of feel where you are right in your shoes there. We had new legislation in the spring of 2023. And we had kind of the what of what we knew would need to happen, but we didn't yet have the how until that fall. So we would learn what our that there was going to be professional learning or various requirements, but we learned of the programs to explore in the fall, and then we did have a little bit of time. So part of my role alongside my team of colleagues that I couldn't do it without was to research the options and really think about presenting our why, not only to the school board, but to administration, because ultimately those decisions were going to impact teachers and we had goals of impacting our student data. So we went through a process and I sat right here in webinars for various programs. And we know from years of experience and from our data that professional learning is, there's no magic bullet, but if I had to choose one, I would choose professional learning and teacher knowledge and growth. So we met even throughout the process. I know we met just specifically with core consultants about Ola, trying to learn everything we could so we could present our compelling why to the school board for why core, why did we think this would be a difference maker in our district. And we have a class size of about 1,000 students per grade level. So we were thinking about all the student growth that we wanted and teacher knowledge we wanted to impact. So even just looking this morning at why did we choose core, it was like a walk down memory lane. And I could look back at some of our slides that I presented to the school board and some of the bullet points, so there were many, were a lot of the things that Dale and Maya talked about this morning that we heard about that content specific knowledge about across all reading domains, about it being program agnostic. So there were many opportunities once we were in the learning within the modules to reflect on, here are, for example, systematic phonics approaches. How these are the look-fors. What does this look like in your curriculum? So that long after the professional learning was, quote unquote, done, because we're never done, but we had in mind the look-fors and things to carry forward as teachers make those important decisions every day with students in front of them. We felt like the source book was a huge bonus for us. We have continued our work with that. And I'll rewind just a little bit and say we started our first cohort. So we had over about 325 teachers, all of whom completed. We were on about a 7-month timeline with our first, we had 12 cohorts running at the same time. That was spring of 2024 through November of 2024. And so we used core facilitators, and I was able to shadow in the background just so I could see who needed support, who might, who I might need to check in with, but we did have 100% of people complete that. And so that was in November. We are still using the source book all the time in our PLC work. It's given us things like common knowledge, common strategies, things that are just grounding us in our future work, even though we had 300, some teachers done with the modules. We also had our 50 brand new teachers go through this fall. So they were on more like a 10-month timeline. We give them the full school year. And I did facilitate those cohorts. So that was one of our big selling points for OLA, was the opportunity for train the trainer. I did a 10-week, about 10 weeks, train the trainer model. And so I was able to support 50 new teachers who also all completed as of June 1st. And we had that flexibility for me to offer the synchronous sessions alongside, we have various school start times. So being able to offer that internally was really helpful because I could be really flexible with the teachers and honor their many responsibilities that they have. So let's see, what else do we want to say? So our journey is continuing. We'll be doing that again next year with our new cohorts. So we're more now on the maintenance phase, but it's been kind of even interesting to sit here this morning and think about how the points that I heard Dale and Maya mention about OLA are that we went in hoping for and knowing from presentations that was what we were hoping for, and now kind of being somewhat on the other side of it and feeling like that was our experience. In many ways, kind of they had me at oral language, and just knowing that foundation that everything builds on was so important. The asset framing of students, that came alive in all the modules, and the language, the way we want our teachers talking about our students, all of those things came through in the modules as well as the synchronous learning. So then when they asked if I would be willing to just come on for a few minutes and talk about our experience, I said sure, because I've seen the benefits and feel like the compelling why that we went in with is what I felt our takeaway was. And that now we have, teams collaborating across general education, special education, intervention with common language. Our PLCs and the questions we're asking are, we're always in development, but they're richer. Just that baseline common knowledge and strategies to build from, and that source book that we keep going back to. So we've been really, really pleased and continuing the outcome. It's not like we have an outcome, there's no end goal, but we're pleased with where we are now and looking forward to continuing that. I think I'm trying to think of the multilingual learner, of course, approach, the aprogrammatic nature, the flexibility. We felt it was sustainable within this sea of possibilities that teachers have every day and all that they have on their plates. That's teaching is as complex and challenging as it is rewarding, that this was a good option for us to build in and honor that flexibility that teachers need in their day-to-day work. Just building that collective efficacy amongst all the teammates. We're gonna do this together. Here's our foundation, which to build from. So
thank you so much, Julie. Thank you. That's amazing. That's so heartfelt, and can feel your sincerity and just how much we're so grateful for our partnership with you. So thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate your time and for sharing your experience. So now that you've kind of heard the experience that Julie had at Wayzata, we would like to share more about OLA, and then we'll go more into Elementary Reading Academy as well. So OLA is more than an online course. It's a comprehensive digital academy that helps teachers build the knowledge, skill, and confidence to teach reading effectively across all student populations. Over the next few slides, I'll walk you through the program structure, the high-impact modules, and how our asynchronous approach ensures that teachers can engage with content anytime, anywhere, while still getting the depth and rigor they need. The program includes 9 expertly designed modules, which districts can complete in either 9 or 18 weeks. Julie was talking about our OCL course, which is the OLA Cohort Leader. That's our Train the Trainer model. or the teachers, and that's the 9-week version. So you get a condensed version so that you can support within the district, or the 18 weeks, which is for teachers who are using the core traditional facilitators, and it's just a little bit longer. Both options are fully compliant with state grant timelines and completion requirements. It's delivered asynchronously in a cohort-based model, which means educators can complete the work on their own time, but still benefit from peer interaction and shared learning. Districts can choose to have the course led by their own internal experts or tap into our team of core certified facilitators. Either way, the content and support are robust. Each module includes a mix of formats to keep learning active and engaging: classroom video, interactive discussion prompts, micro-learning units, quizzes, and practical application activities. There are also the live facilitated sessions built in, and if a district wants deeper implementation support, we can even offer more additional virtual or even in-person coaching and PD. Ultimately, this design supports deep learning, sustained implementation, and scalability while keeping teachers engaged and supported throughout. Now that you've seen how OLA is structured, we'd like to show you a little more. This short video gives you a closer look at what it feels like to engage with OLA. Let's take a look.
Welcome to OLA, the Online Language and Literacy Academy, where professional learning and structured literacy meets the needs of language-diverse classrooms. OLA is a professional development academy for K-6 educators, along with special education and reading specialists for all grade levels. It's a 9-module asynchronous course that covers everything teachers need to know to help students along their reading and language development journey. OLA's easy-to-use dashboard makes it simple to navigate through the course, and its micro-learning units help to make the content engaging and easily digestible. Educators can navigate through the learning windows at their own pace, or even go back to previously learned content whenever they need to review. The content in OLA is delivered in a variety of formats to keep educators engaged and active, from live classroom videos to interactive activities, and frequent short quizzes to show off what they've learned. Educators will not only learn new teaching strategies and empirical research on reading and language development, but they will also have many opportunities to practice what they've learned and connect to the materials they currently use in their classroom. Educators will engage in classroom simulations to practice their new knowledge in a safe, low-stress environment. There are multiple opportunities to engage with a cohort of colleagues through community chats and live Zoom sessions led by OLA certified cohort leaders from your district or core experts, depending on the course purchased. But wait, there's more. OLA can be completed in 18 weeks or less. Educators can choose the pace that's best for them, and the course can be accessed anywhere, anytime. At last, a course that not only delves deep into evidence-based research and effective instructional practices of reading and language development, but also offers unparalleled efficiency and flexibility. This is OLA, the Online Language and Literacy Academy. What are you waiting for? Enroll in OLA today.
Thank you so much. And now that you've seen the
Welcome
experience
to-
in action, let's take a quick tour of the 9 OLA modules. Each one builds on the last, guiding educators from basic concepts to confident application, always grounded in language and literacy. Module 1 sets the stage, welcoming teachers into the course and framing what's ahead. Module 2 connects spoken language to reading and word structure, laying the foundation for everything that follows. Module 3 dives into early literacy instruction, helping teachers move from theory to daily practice. After Module 3 is when the first live session begins. This live session gives participants time to reflect, ask questions, and collaborate with peers and a facilitator. Then we go into Module 4, which unpacks decoding and irregular word reading with tools teachers can use right away. Module 5 supports instruction in multisyllabic words, spelling, and fluency, which is key for the upper grades. Module 6 focuses on building rich vocabulary, linking oral and written word knowledge. After Module 6 is when live session number 2 happens, which deepens learning and connects to the classroom through guided discussion and modeling. Module 7 brings attention to syntax, an essential but often undertaught part of literacy. Module 8 focuses on comprehension, showing how language underpins understanding. And Module 9 wraps with assessment, how to gather and use data to guide instruction. And that is where our final live session number 3, which supports planning and ensures teachers walk away ready to implement. And throughout the course, of course, educators lean on 2 key resources. We've talked about it quite a lot. The Teaching Reading Sourcebook, which provides practical lesson models and a clear what, why, when, how structure, and the Assessing Reading Multiple Measures, which offers the screeners, diagnostics, and flowcharts to guide data-driven decisions across all 5 components of reading. By the end, educators are equipped with knowledge, tools, and confidence, not just to understand structured literacy, but to deliver it with impact. Over to you, Dale.
All right, thanks, Maya. Okay, so now let's take a quick look at our Elementary Reading Academy option. The Elementary Reading Academy is our flagship in-person professional development program built to help educators develop deep knowledge of how reading develops and how to teach it effectively, from foundational skills to syntax to comprehension. Where OLA provides flexible, self-paced learning, the Elementary Reading Academy is a highly interactive experience, perfect for districts looking for hands-on, in-person training, collaboration, and real-time facilitation. It's rooted in the science of reading and structured literacy and designed for immediate classroom application. Whether your teachers are brand new or seasoned veterans, the Elementary Reading Academy helps them build or strengthen the knowledge they need to develop high-impact instruction across any curriculum, actually. In the next few slides, I'll walk you through the structure of the program, our live delivery options, and the modules that anchor the learning experience. So here's a high-level look at how the Elementary Reading Academy is structured. The course includes 7 intensive sessions, typically completed across 7 days, but not necessarily in back to back. It's really dependent on the delivery schedule your district chooses. Districts can opt for a fully in-person experience or have it delivered live, online, or kind of a combination of the two by one of our expert facilitators. Either way, the Elementary Reading Academy is designed to be interactive, practical, and immediately applicable. Each session includes classroom video modeling, guided discussions, hands-on activities, and structured practice, giving teachers the opportunity to engage, reflect, and apply what they learn in real time. We also offer the option for extended support, including follow-up coaching and additional professional development, whether it's virtual or in person, to help sustain implementation beyond the training days. In short, the Elementary Reading Academy isn't just a workshop, and it's an extended course that is a transformational experience designed to shift practice and build lasting instructional capacity. So let's talk about what makes those in-person sessions so powerful. First of all, they're immersive and they're hands-on. Teachers don't just hear about effective instruction, they see it modeled in real time, they try it out themselves, and get feedback right away. This creates a much deeper level of learning and confidence. And teachers are also able to connect the knowledge they're learning to their curriculum because we ask teachers to bring a teacher's guide with them to the training so that they can compare and contrast what they see in the Teaching Reading Sourcebook and what they're learning and what they see in their instructional materials as it relates to the different components. That's when teachers can start to identify if there are any gaps in their curriculum because we know no one curriculum's perfect. And second, there's the value of team cohesion. When educators are learning together in the same room in real time, it sparks professional dialogue, it builds trust, and it creates a shared understanding. That kind of alignment is critical when you're working toward system-wide change. And finally, our sessions are designed for immediate classroom application. Teachers leave with ready-to-use instructional practices that they can implement the very next day. It's not just a binder that sits on a shelf. This is professional learning that sticks because it's relevant, interactive, and immediately usable. And very similar to Hola, we have all the same content. Here's an overview of the 7 sessions that make up the Elementary Reading Academy, each one carefully designed to build teacher knowledge and instructional precision step by step. So session 1 sets the stage with the big picture. We connect spoken language, word structure, and early literacy, laying the foundation for everything that follows. In session 2, we dive into phonemic awareness, phonics, and irregular word reading, where teachers learn how to teach these components explicitly and systematically. Session 3 moves into multisyllabic word reading, spelling, and fluency, critical for students in 2nd grade and beyond. And session 4 focus is entirely on vocabulary development because strong word knowledge drives comprehension and academic success. Session 5 takes us into syntax and sentence comprehension. This is often overlooked but essential for bridging oral and written language. And session 6 builds on that session 5 with reading comprehension and how to teach text. Teachers learn to plan instruction that supports meaning making at every level. And finally, session 7 ties it all together with reading assessment, showing educators how to use data to drive targeted, effective instruction and how to use the diagnostic assessments available in the Assessing Reading Multiple Measures. Each session is interactive, rooted in research, and geared toward immediate application. This structure ensures teachers don't just understand the science of reading, they know how to implement it with confidence and consistency. So that wraps up our presentation, and here's an opportunity if you're interested to break out your phone and scan the QR codes if you want to connect with Maya and I on LinkedIn. So I'll give just a second if you'd like to do that and take out your phone and scan. And then we'll have a few minutes for some Q&A.
Dale, go to the next slide so that if they want to make an appointment to speak with
Yep.
someone more about CORE and talk about how it might fit with their district, they can either reach out to Nikki Stark or Brittany Kufad.
Yep. Yeah, and there's QR codes for them. They take you right to an app where you can just schedule a time where it shows they have openings. All right, so we'll just kind of hang out here for a second and see if there's any questions.
Yeah, so I want to thank everybody for coming and for spending time with us on this Friday. I'm going to stop the recording and then you'll have an opportunity if you'd like to ask any questions. But before I do, I want to thank you all again for being here. I want to thank CORE for making time in their schedule to share their information with us. We know that this is a large decision for districts to make and it's a legacy decision. So we look forward to supporting you in any way that we can. So thank you and have a wonderful day.